Hello, I'm Julian Northbrook from doingenglish.com, and I better warn you right now, this video has the potential to turn into a bit of a rant. But you know what? Fuck it. Sometimes that's good, isn't it? So, question that gets asked of me in conversation recently, quite often. There's some good English for you. Is what is the biggest cultural shock, the biggest kind of cultural difference that stands out to you in New York compared to the United Kingdom, or indeed Ireland or Japan or any of the other places that you've ever really stayed and been? Because, like, let's be honest, these days, the United Kingdom, for me, it's kind of hard to say that it's now my cultural background because I haven't actually lived there for such a long time. Okay. It's a good question and it's a great conversation topic. And indeed, we covered this quite extensively in a series of lessons in extraordinary English speakers called New York Culture Shock. And in this little video, I want to rant a little bit about what has proven to be my biggest New York culture shock. Now, first I'm going to point out that I absolutely love it here. I really like America. I like New York a lot, and I really like the way of life here, the culture here, and really just everything about the city. Perhaps not right now with coronavirus and lockdown and all that stuff, but I do really like it here. And, you know, this is somewhere I would consider buying an apartment and making it my home. I like it that much. So everything else that I say, just try to frame it and think of it in that context. But the biggest, I think, cultural shock for me, and I really thought long and hard about how I could boil this down into a single, simple statement, I think, is that for the most part, people just do not give a shit about other people. And you see this kind of in various situations and places. For example, like you'll go outside and there will be people walking down the street with speakers, kind of like that little speaker I've got hanging off here, my Bluetooth speaker, kind of just attached to their bag strap. And instead of using headphones to listen to their music, they'll just blast their music out into the world. I've seen people kind of hanging out with their car stereo turned up to incredible volumes, doors open, basically just for the entire world to have to hear. And it's like there's no real sense of not annoying other people, of being considerate to other people with things like this. It's really seems to me to be a lot of the time very much a case of I'm me, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, and everybody else, if they don't like it, they can just sod off. That, for me, coming from living in Japan for such a long time, it is quite surprising and quite like, wow, really? Because, like, you know, Japan and the culture there is very much the opposite. It's very much about being considerate to other people, thinking about the group harmony, the harmony of the people around you before your own personal individual needs. And here it's really the other way around. And I guess it's part of the way that this culture is developed. Western cultures in general, I guess, tend to place a lot of value on individualism, being yourself, and like, I don't want to say it's a selfish culture because I think that has too much of a negative nuance. And it, you know, what is considered, you know, selfish, negative, positive is very much differs between different cultures. But certainly coming from living in Japan for a long time to coming somewhere like this, it feels to me that many people are quite selfish and quite inconsiderate towards other people. Other places where you see the same kind of thing is in the service industry, in shops, cafes, coffee shops, like wherever you go, like customer service just does not exist in this country. I had to go to one of the big kind of general, we sell everything kind of stores, Target, a couple of days ago to pick up a cable to connect my, to be able to connect my iPad to my computer. And like I'm there, there's nobody else there. There are 3 people at the till, at the register, at the checkout, whatever you want to call it, and they're just talking, having a chat, having a conversation. And I'm just stood there with this fucking cable in my hand, like waiting for somebody to serve me, and they're just completely ignoring me. Like I got glanced at once, and then that was it. And it wasn't until I actually said, "Hey, can I pay for this?" that like somebody actually, grudgingly stopped the conversation, turned to me and actually, did it. And even then I was kept waiting while they actually finished their conversation while they were doing it. Like I'm waiting to, pay, and I've got my card in my hand now, and they're just still having a chat about something else, and somebody's calling something over, and it's just like, you're only the customer. You can wait whilst we finish what we're talking about. And it's not just there. It's like I've experienced the same thing in a couple of places. Another example, I went to the supermarket and I wanted to get a bottle of wine. I made myself some very nice spicy sausage pasta, and I thought, I'll have some wine with this. So I went to the supermarket. I'm looking around and I can't find wine anywhere. So I asked one of the shop assistants, one of the girls who was kind of stacking shelves and things. I said, like, where's the wine? She just said, don't know, got no idea. She said, maybe you can ask that guy over there. It's like, there's no, like, I'm going to try and help you. There's no, I'm going to, try and like work this out for you, or even know where the things are in the supermarket where I work. It's just like, nah, don't know. That's it. End of conversation. Guy in a coffee shop went to get some coffee beans, to bring home, grind, put in the coffee maker myself. Only had a $20 note to pay for something which was like 11 or something like that. So obviously I need change. The guy, he's at his own till, opens the till. He doesn't have enough ones or fives to be able to make up the right change. And he's like, pissed off because he has to walk an entire 2 meters to the other till on the other end of the counter. And it's just like in Japan, things like this would not happen. It's like you walk up to the cash register, to the till in Japan, and it's going to be like all hands on deck to serve this customer. You ask somebody a question, and if they don't know the answer, they will make sure that the answer is found for you. They will go out there and actually find out themselves where it is, and then come back and actually take you to the place where that thing you're looking for is. It's just like, to just say, don't know, like in Japan is unheard of. It just would not happen. To be visibly annoyed and pissed off because you have to give someone change or go to get someone change just would not happen in Japan. And yeah, the UK, I guess, is kind of, similar to what we see in the UK in several ways. For me, perhaps not quite so extreme, but then actually the reality is I'm not used to the UK like I am Japan and places like that. So it's a bizarre feeling for me, this like just total lack of consideration for other people, even when it's your actual job to be considerate to people. Now, I don't want this to sound like I'm being negative and complaining about this, because first of all, this is just my viewpoint, based on a fairly limited sample of data. Like, I haven't been here that long. Well, I've been here a couple of months now, actually. But it's like, it's a weird situation at the moment. Everything's locked down. There are only a few shops and businesses actually allowed to open, just what they call essential businesses. And, it might be that this is creating a different kind of environment for people, and therefore they are not behaving like they normally do. So don't take what I've just said too literally, too seriously, and think, Julian says that everybody in America is inconsiderate and there's no good customer service, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm also not saying, as I said, it's a totally bad thing. It's just different. It's a different culture, and it's a different way of behaving and a different way of doing things. And in a situation where everybody has these kind of values, these kind of cultural values to, basically just to do what I want to do, be myself, be an individual, I think it actually kind of works because it's like, just basically everybody is doing what they want. And therefore, it's not really like you've got one person trying to be really, really considerate, like me coming from, say, Japanese culture to compared with everybody else and feeling like why aren't other people trying to do what I'm doing? So again, don't take what I've just said too seriously. This really just is my point of view here, my biased and not, I guess, fairly biased point of view and opinion. But if you asked me right now, like, what is my biggest culture shock in New York, which was the point of this video, that is exactly what I would tell you. So, I hope you found this useful. Have you been in New York? What was the biggest culture shock for you here? Let us know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I will be having a look to see whether you agree with me or whether a different thing stood out to you as being a culturally shocking element of the, culture here. So this is me, Julian Northbrook, signing out from this video. If you are using the shadowing exercise and not getting the kind of results that you so desire, I made something good for you. It's called the Good Shadowing Guide, and you can download it for free by heading over to doingenglish.com/shadowing, clicking on the link in the description, or if I've remembered to set it, which doesn't always happen, clicking on the card thing, which hopefully is about here and not on the other side of the screen, because I usually get it wrong. Right, this is me, Julian Northbrook, once again saying bye-bye. Bye-bye.